So, Team B, the answer is correct, so you're getting 10 points. Now my next question number 3 to Team A. Which of the following disclosures for government grants is not required under IAS 20 Accounting for Government Grants and Disclosure of Government Assistance? Option A, the accounting policy adopted for government grants. Option B, the method of presentation adopted in the financial statements. Option C, the nature and extent of government grants recognized in the financial statements. Option D, all conditions and contingencies attached to government assistance that have been recognized. And your time starts now. Which of the following disclosures for government grants is not required under IAS 20 Accounting for Government Grants and Disclosure of Government Assistance? And the answer is wrong. So, rest of the team, you can press the buzzer now.
And the answer is D.
And the answer is correct. Congratulations. Team B, your third question to you. In the context of IAS 1, which of the following statements is correct? Option A, assets and liabilities and income and expenses may not be offset unless approved by the board of directors. Option B, assets and liabilities and income and expenses may not be offset unless permitted by an IFRS. Option C, assets and liabilities and income and expenses should always be offset. Option D, assets and liabilities and income and expenses should never be offset. Option C, credited to a statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income. Option D, deferred income. And the answer is correct. Congratulations. Team B, your question is, while computing value in use, estimates of future cash flows must not include option A, cash inflows from the continuing use of the asset. Option B, cash outflows that are necessarily incurred to generate the cash flows. Option C, cash inflows or outflows from financing activities related to the asset. Option D, net disposal proceeds at the end of the asset's useful life. You have 25 seconds left. While computing value in use, estimates of future cash flows must not include what?
It's option C.
Option C. And the answer is correct. Team B is doing good, right? Okay. My next question to Team C. Under IAS 24 related party disclosures, what would not be a required disclosure? Option A, relationship between parent and subsidiary where there have been no transactions between them. Option B, if there are related party transactions, disclose the nature of the relationship. C, measurement basis used for transaction. D, key management personnel compensation by category. Answer C. Correct answer. Question for Team D. In accordance with the IASB's conceptual framework, the fundamental qualitative characteristics are option A, faithful representation and verifiability. Option B, relevance and faithful representation. Option C, relevance and timeliness. Option D, faithful representation and understandability. In accordance with the IASB's conceptual framework, the fundamental qualitative characteristics are option A, faithful representation and verifiability. Option B, relevance and faithful representation. Option C, relevance and timeliness. Option D, faithful representation and understandability. Option D. And your answer is wrong. So, rest of the team, you get a chance to raise the buzzer now. Team D?
B.
It's B.
B.
And the answer is correct. So, Team A, this is your last question. Where a foreign entity functions independently from its parent, the functional currency of the foreign entity can be determined with reference to option A, the main group companies, option B, the country of origin, option C, the presentation currency, option D, guidance for determining an entity's functional currency given in IAS 21. Where a foreign entity functions independently from its parents, the functional currency of the foreign entity can be determined with reference to A, the main group companies, B, the country of origin, C, the presentation currency, D, the guidance for determining an entity's functional currency given in IAS 21. And this is the right answer. Well, Team B, your last question. In accordance with IAS 21, the effects of changes in foreign exchange rates, non-monetary items should be reported at option A, the closing rate, option B, the spot exchange rate of the transaction, option C, the average rate for the year, option D, none of the above. Answer is A. And the answer is correct. And this is the last question of this round, and that is to Team D. Which statement below is not included in the definition of cash equivalents under IAS 7? Option A, subject to insignificant change in value. Option B, short-term highly liquid investments. Option C, investment in high-quality instruments. Option D, readily convertible to known amounts of cash. Ten seconds left. The answer is wrong. So, rest of the team, you get the chance to press the buzzer now. Team B.
Ma'am, C.
And the answer is correct. Congratulations. Let's see. We need some time to calculate the marks, I guess. So you guys can take rest for 5 minutes. And our next round will be rapid fire round, and we have to go rapidly. So you get to rest for 5 minutes. And well, let's see who is in which position. So is this the final result? First round? Okay, ICMAB, you got 20 marks. ICAI, 70. ICASL, 50. ICAB, 35. So, in the first position, we have Group B, ICAI, 70. have 2 rounds left, so you have the chance yet. So let's see what happens. You still have the chance, and can I have 5 minutes? Okay, okay. You know, whenever I'm thinking that this is all about accounting, I'm having trouble.
Hands whoever.
Correct answer. So I'm going back to the first question. According to IFRS 15, the asset is transferred to a customer. Option A, on the day specified by a contract with the customer. Option B, when the customer obtains control over it. You still have 15 seconds.
B.
And the answer is right. So you gave correct answer to all the questions. So Team B, are you ready for the rapid fire round? Let's begin. Your first question: what is the international effective date of IFRS 16? Option A, financial periods beginning 1 January 2018. B, financial periods beginning 1st January 2019. Revenue of entity shall be measured at A, fair value. Option B, market value. Correct answer. Question number 3. Which of the following is not covered by IAS 36 impairment? Option A, inventory. Option B, intangible assets. Correct answer. Question number 4. Finance lease gives rise to what expense and what expense? Option A, finance depreciation. Option B, interest depreciation.
Option
Option A. Correct answer. Question number 5. An investment entity shall measure an investment in subsidiary at option A, fair value through other comprehensive income. B, fair value through profit or loss.
Option B.
Correct answer. Question number 1, once again for you. What is the international effective date of IFRS 2016? Option A, financial periods beginning 1st January 2018. Option B, financial periods beginning 1st January 2019.
Option A.
Option A. And the answer is wrong. So you gave 4 correct answers. Now Team C. Are you guys ready? Question number 3. An entity is permitted to use the realization model for the initial recognition of an intangible asset. Option A, true. Option B, false. False. Correct answer. The element of financial statements which relate to financial position are option A, income, expenses and equity. Option B, assets, liabilities and equity. B is the right answer. Question number 5. Basic EPS is calculated using the net profit or loss for the period attributable to option A, ordinary shareholders. Option B, preferred shareholders. Correct answer. And question number 2. Yes, question number 2, I'm repeating once again for you. The present value of expected future cash flows generated by an asset plus its expected disposal value is called option A, net present value. Option B, value in use. Correct answer. Okay, you gave all the correct answers to all 5 questions. Team D. Ready, you guys? Your first question is: as far as IAS 18 interest shall be recognized using the option A, effective interest method. Option B, accrued interest method. Correct answer. Question number 2. Where is the amortization of an intangible asset recognized? Option A, profit or loss. Option B, statement of financial position. Correct answer. Question number 3. The principal revenue producing activities of an entity are called option A, operating activities. Option B, investing activities. Correct answer. Question number 4. Under IAS 11, 2 or more contracts should be accounted for separately even if they were negotiable together. Option A, true. Option B, false. Question number 5. When should an impairment loss be recognized? Option A, immediately. Option B, over a number of accounting periods. Correct answer. Question number 4, once again for you. Under IAS 11, 2 or more contracts should be accounted for separately even if they were negotiable together. True or false? Wrong. So you gave 4 correct answers to all 5 questions. So we're done with our rapid fire round. Can you see the result? And then team C. So you guys are pretty close. Team B is with 110 and team C stands in the second position with 100 marks. Let's see what happens in the third round. Team A and Team D, you still have a chance. So fight. Our third round is buzzer round and there will be total 20 questions. The team who will press the buzzer first will be asked the question. Okay? Whenever you see the question in the screen, anyone can press the buzzer. Before me asking, no problem. But you have to keep that in your mind that there is a negative marking. If you press the buzzer and give the wrong answer, there will be 5 negative marking. So whenever you press the buzzer, keep that in your mind. And there is no way to pass the question to any other team or no chance of pressing the buzzer second time. So shall we begin? Are you ready? Team? Ready? With all the spirit? Energy? Okay, let's begin then. Our first question.
Excuse me, just for the clarity, if anyone pushed the buzzer and did not even answer to that,